What is up, movie realists? No, this isn't Nick, but he has seen this movie, and I, of course, am Matt, and this is another real review. Yeah, Nick's in a job transition, so he couldn't go to the screening with me tonight. But Jeff, the lovely Jeff Quiz Show, whatever name you know him by, uh, saw this movie before me actually at the Philadelphia film festival. So I was like, oh yeah, I gotta ask Jeff to come on this with me. But Jeff, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. Yeah, this was the opening night screening for the Philadelphia Film Festival. I bought a ton of tickets for that film festival. I skipped a handful of them. But next year I might try and schedule it out a little better to make myself actually go to it. Like I had it all scheduled out, these movies almost every night, and then I was like, I'm tired. So no, it's like, you know what, Armageddon time. I'll catch you later.
You know what's funny? I worked. There was two screenings for Armageddon time. There was one Friday, which I was working, and then there was one tonight at the same time as this.
Banshees.
And I had to
I haven't even seen Armageddon time, but Banshees.
Yeah, I was just like, I've Banshees, like Banshees. Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson. Like, how could you not?
Them together again under Martin McDonagh. They previously worked all three of them together as part of the fantastic film In Bruges. I love that film so much.
I haven't seen it.
It's great. Martin McDonagh, he is a playwright and a filmmaker. He has made, I think he made something called Six Shooter, but I think it was a short film. But as far as the feature releases, he made In Bruges. He made Seven Psychopaths, which I also love. I love all his films.
This is probably
Seven Psychopaths
first film of his I can say I've actually seen.
Seven Psychopaths, I think, is great. Some people, their mileage may vary because it gets a little too talk heavy, meta in a way that some find messy. I just really enjoy. And then his third film, which was In Bruges, got him an Oscar nomination for original screenplay, but it was his third film, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, that really hit at the Oscars.
Yes, it did.
Winning Frances McDormand Best Actress, and then Sam Rockwell Best Supporting Actor. And you know, it had I don't remember if it had editing, but it had original screenplay nomination. Yes, it had a bunch of stuff. I really like that movie too. But this is his newest movie, and he's going back to his Irish roots. And bringing and kind of reuniting his team from In Bruges with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. And do we want to talk about our feelings on it? Do we want to do like a very quick synopsis on like what the movie is without going into too much detail?
Yeah, let's start off with a quick synopsis, because the easiest way to the easiest there's a one sentence synopsis you can give here, and that is it's the story of two men, and one of them just decides to stop being friends with the other. And it begins to take a toll on their mental states.
To elaborate on that just a little bit, Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, they're longtime friends on this little island of Inisherin in Ireland during a civil war in the 1920s. And they go to the pub every day at about 2 o'clock.
2 p.m.
And they always go and they just get drunk. And then one day he decides to go and meet up with his friend, Brendan Gleeson, and Brendan decides not to go with him, and he's not sure why. And he finds out Brendan Gleeson just doesn't want to be friends with him anymore. He has no reason for it. He just decided he doesn't like him anymore.
And that he's dull. His reasoning is he's dull.
That's it. And it's a story of, and the way that this goes is in some really unexpected territory. Because with that basis, it's like it's this story of loneliness, isolation, depression, more than a lot of things. They refer to it as despair. But yes, it is a story of isolation and depression and the toll it takes on not only yourself, but the people around you. And it is funny. It is sad. It is shocking. It is brutal in some ways. It is this weird meld of a bunch of different tones, and yet it never seems to kind of burst at the seams. Like, I'm already starting to talk about how I feel about it. It is this big mashup of all these different tones trying to tell this story with all these very interesting themes in there.
Well, you've also had more time to sit down and marinate with this film because you saw it over a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
I'd say at the timing of this recording, it has been like 13 days.
Yeah, I was about to say it's just under 2 weeks.
I saw it on a Wednesday, so it's just a hair under 2 weeks.
Yeah. I literally just got out of it about an hour and a half ago. Mm-hmm. But honestly, you hit it on the head. I'll say this. Colin Farrell's had a year between this, the Batman, is it 13 Lives?
I'm looking up all the stuff that he did this year because he has
13 Lives is that Amazon film.
13 Lives. That's right. Yeah. You know what? It's funny. I thought the movie was fine. Like it's solidly presented. Completely forgot all about it. He has the Batman. He has 13 Lives. He has the Banshees of Inisherin. All of them with interesting filmmakers to varying degrees. Matt Reeves, Ron Howard, Martin McDonagh. It shows that he's. Oh, and by the way, no, a fourth film. It premiered at festivals last year, but it dropped earlier this year on Showtime. It's an A24 film called After Yang, directed by Keoghan, another incredibly interesting director. After Yang, another one of the best movies of the year. It is a beautiful, devastating 90-minute movie, and it's really quiet. And then I think that he's just had a run with this stuff lately. Mm-hmm. This may have been
his best run in a single year, best run of films.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because last year he didn't really he hasn't had like 2020 and then 2021 if you don't count After Yang because that was just a festival. The only good stuff he had going on was he had this mini series on AMC Plus and BBC Two called The North Water, which got like incredible reviews. It's from this guy who made a couple of like A24 films, Andrew Hay. But it's a great year for him. And I think, personally speaking, I know how much you love the Batman. This is my favorite thing he's done this year. I think this is the best work that he has done.
I actually agree. It's my favorite performance of his. I still love Batman. I still claim it as my favorite movie of all time. That's just the kid in me who grew up with Batman. But performance-wise, as much as I loved him as Penguin, this tops it. I've loved him in essentially everything I've seen him in this year. But he just for playing a guy who's you could tell is not all there. But he's not the worst one in Inisherin who isn't all there.
No.
And that's another Batman. Well, Batman.
It's funny. Yeah. It is. Let's just go down real quick and let's point out some great performances. We have Brendan Gleeson is also great in a very different performance from Colin Farrell. So it's very interesting getting to see them kind of play off each other with Colin Farrell as this incredibly sweet. He is just nice.
The nicest guy.
He is the nicest guy. He's not necessarily the smartest guy in the room, but he always means well. He's just a good person.
And everybody
and you have this
this
dour older gentleman played by Brendan Gleeson. It is kind of funny. You try to figure out how is this much older guy just best friends with him too?
Well, to be fair, we don't know what the real age difference is.
That's what I mean. But at the same time, you could tell there's a bit of an age difference. Yeah. I mean, in real life, Colin Farrell is 46 and Brendan Gleeson is 67. There is. So, then, the woman who plays Colin Farrell's sister, who lives with Colin Farrell's character, Carrie Condon, she's so good as well. She's someone who it's just great, these different clashing personalities and how they work when it feels like they're also different from each other. They're disparate.
She had the hardest job, to me at least, because and this plays into Colin Farrell's character's Ray Scott, because she's trying to play mediator, but still taking care of her brother, who she knows isn't fully there, while also trying to break off onto her own and
path, her own life, where she could just kind of be herself. Because the other thing is, even though we see so much of Colin Farrell's social life in it and what he wants to do,
we don't see
she is someone who I think low key, because you don't really think about it, really is a huge like outside of Brendan Gleeson. She's, I think, the big they're all different people that kind of exemplify how isolation and being ostracized can affect one. Because it seems like she is ostracized just for being the smartest person around.
Yes.
Which is funny considering how dumb Colin Farrell's character is. And yeah, literally everyone else is, except for Brendan Gleeson, really.
Yeah, Brendan Gleeson, yes.
She is reserved and she is quiet, but she has these
she loves to read. She's
it is
just got this
commanding without. She's able to command the screen without really saying anything, with just a glance, because a glance can really tell it all. And it's just how she's able to say the most casual line, which is funny. She's the one when Colin Farrell is questioning. They have it in the trailer too, so it's okay to say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
When he's like, I don't know why he's not saying, why I don't know why he doesn't want to sit with me, and she goes, well, maybe it's because he doesn't like you anymore. And you're like, that'd be funny. Shit, she was right. So it's interesting, but I gotta say, Colin Farrell, I adored him. I think Brendan Gleeson is also great.
But we haven't even talked about the MVP.
It's Barry Keoghan, who had a cameo in Batman, as everyone's favorite nemesis of the Batman.
Yes.
The Joker. I think he's only credited as Arkham Asylum inmate or something. But Barry
Dominic
Keoghan, who to me, he is such an interesting, weird dude. He is he's obviously in his 20s, but he acts like he's 12, but he's also a 12. He has a 12-year-old mind.
Yeah, but you can see
a 30-year-old.
They make it clear with his body movements, and we know in this time people don't really know about the spectrum, but how his ticks, you can tell, okay, he's probably on the spectrum. How he speaks is on the spectrum, but also there's something we learn later on in the film which could cause some mental trauma to someone, and that could be why it's a shell of his.
It's all very interesting,
and I felt like he was the perfect kind of mirror to Colin Farrell at points, because when Brendan Gleeson's character breaks off this friendship out of nowhere, this is who he begins to hang out with, and now he's not. They're both not the most intelligent, but
and now he's the older one too.
He's the older one,
even more awkward and dumb.
He's the one who is getting annoyed easily because of this person's mentality and how they interact with society.
Yeah, it's very fun to see how it affects Colin Farrell's character, the performance. We'll just they're all the classic Irish names, so sometimes they're a little they're not that hard to pronounce. It's
the last names are
it's Sullivan, or it's a long
Pádraic,
but it's Pádraic, it's Collin, even though it's spelled Colm, Collin. And then Siobhan is Siobhan.
Siobhan. Oh,
and then Dominic, that's a normal name. And now hold on. When I say normal, I mean normal in terms of sitting here on the East Coast, in the U.S. Dominic is a more
traditional Roman Catholic
traditional name that you might run into compared to Pádraic or Colm.
Or Siobhan.
I know some Siobhans.
I don't.
There's a Siobhan in Succession too. Yes, there's Siobhans.
I haven't Succession.
But I gotta say, I've sat on the movie more, and I like it more and more. The more I think about it, as I started saying earlier, I think that it takes some turns that you don't know where it's going to go. The real hook of it, and it's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer for it, is when we say that Colin Farrell is not taking kindly to being cut off as a friend, it gets to the point when he keeps trying to almost harass. He doesn't take no for an answer. He starts harassing Brendan Gleeson's Colm, and Colm gets to the point where he says, "If you keep trying to talk to me,
I'm going to
even
cut
though
off my fingers.
I have giving you boundaries and you are crossing them, every time you talk to me, I will cut off a finger until I have no fingers left, and I will give it to you." And I mean, it's suffice it to say, by the end of the movie, someone doesn't have all of their fingers.
It's an incredibly fun journey and funny, and part of the reason I love movies like this is it finds the perfect blend of all of these elements because it keeps you laughing, but at the right moments. It's not like a mistimed laugh, or like it's a well-balanced, perfectly timed joke just to lighten up the mood slightly. And just stellar performances from the entire cast, stellar writing. And I know you and I talked and we kind of landed at the same rating. That's a 4.5 out of 5. I'm very interested in seeing this again. It's fun. It's very rare that a darker, sadder film warrants wanting to be watched again. Like, for example, Till. I just saw Till.
Yeah.
That's something I can say. I loved it. I watched it once and I will never watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not everyone really like has a craving to like go rewatch Requiem for a Dream.
Exactly.
Like I've seen The Whale. I don't know the next time I plan on rewatching that, but I'm glad I've seen it.
Exactly.
I mean, like the reason why I don't have it like a full 5 is it feels like I need to let it sit more because I do love it. Is it to me a 5 out of 5 love? Or, could it have been a slightly tighter? It's just under 2 hours. Could have been a little tighter. Could I have wanted a little more from something? I think possibly. And the things I might want, I would rather, not say and possibly spoil.
Right.
They're all, they're all very minor though.
Right.
But there's those minor things there's a couple times where I find there's an edit that I found was awkward. They don't necessarily, a couple times they don't follow the 180 rule properly, and they do weird like cuts of like
camera
a close
movements.
to a medium, or a medium to a far to a close. But like they do it in weird orders. So there's little tiny little things like that, and they're infrequent and they're minor, but they add up to that 0.5 that's missing.
Yeah,
but
and you actually reminded me of 2 technical aspects that I want to talk about real quick and praise. Okay. That's the score. I loved the score. The score's fantastic.
Carter Burwell is so good. Like he's able to make after working with the Coens so many times, he knows exactly how to make the perfect sound that is both ominous and yet it also can lay the groundwork for an incredibly funny, acidic scene. It's like you're laughing, but you're also like, this is horrifying at the same time. And somehow it's just this weird, deep feeling. He makes this music where regardless of what is being said or what the actions are being taken on screen, his music kind of makes you feel uneasy about how you're supposed to feel.
There's a lot of points in there where you'd think it sounds a little bit like a horror score, and then the mood just shifts ever so slightly, and you're like, okay, it's not horror, but this is beautiful.
But I'm uneasy.
It's haunting. And then the other thing I want to give a shout out to is the cinematography, especially those opening and closing shots. Oh my God.
There's some great shots there. Great work. I also, I want to see who the name was of this. Give me 2 seconds. I want to pull this up. There's someone that I really want to give a shout out for.
Real quick, my other shout out is to the priest, because the priest is hilarious.
Priest was great. I just want to see the name up. So I don't know the. All right, character, same name in real life. I want to give a shout out to Jenny the donkey.
Yes, Jenny the donkey.
Jenny the donkey. So one thing, like in a movie with a dog, a lot of people are like, "Oh, the best boy is," and they say the name of the dog. Like, best boy is Jenny
the donkey.
Jenny the donkey. Jenny the donkey. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
We love you, Jenny. The movie may be over, but you'll be in our hearts and minds forever.
Yes. But with that, folks, this was our real review for the Banshees of Inisherin. I really dig it. I really dug it. I know Geoff did too.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to do more stuff with Geoff coming up here soon. I know we've been working on stuff post Schmodown, but schedules
Life's in the way.
Life gets in the way. But also be sure to tune in next Tuesday, and I want to say 12 p.m. Eastern, because I think it's 9 a.m. Pacific, where the embargo lifts for this. I am really excited. My screening is on Monday, so I literally have to do the same thing I did for this, which is go watch, turn around, and make sure I make a review to get it out on time. And woo! But I'm excited for that.
I got tickets for that opening Thursday night. Someone on TikTok told me not to go see it. Opening weekend.
We ain't gonna talk about her. About her. But no.
But Banshees, see it. Please, guys, see it if you can in the theater.
And it's Fox Searchlight, so
films.
it doesn't need a ton of money to break even, or at least
it is also it is Fox Searchlight now. And if they follow the normal trajectory, it might be 45 days from, I don't know if it's wide release or limited in general, where after 45 days it will end up on HBO and HBO Max and possibly Hulu. It depends. Certain films haven't shown up on Hulu. Like Barbarian only went to Max. So we'll see.
Barbarian is a Warner Brothers film. That's why.
No, Barbarian is Searchlight.
It is? I thought it was Warner.
Yeah, We'll research that offline. We can end the video.
But but yeah, also be sure to check out everything Connor and Taylor are doing over on Twitch. The video on demands live on this channel, and you can go watch those. Reactions, got a Christmas one up right now. I recorded a Disenchanted one that I'll probably put up a day late. Oops. But yeah. But signing off, I'm Matt.
I'm Geoff.
Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter. Those are our handle on the Twitter, even though Elon's a dick.
I'm getting so close to 600 followers.
Yeah.
I've been fluctuating at 590, 589 for weeks now.
But yeah, go ahead and follow us. And we'll see you next time over here on Martin Entertainment. Peace.